of the Open League playoffs between the top two teams from the Palace of Darkness division. We have Daaanty made us join with Skeeter running tonight, and the runner-up Kakariko Brew crew with Slumberjack running tonight. This is the first match in a best-of-5 series between the two teams to see who will continue on in the Open League playoffs. I'm joined tonight on commentary by my pal Drosy. Drosy, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited for these playoff matches that we now have underway. It's pretty cool that these teams have made it this far, you know?
Yeah, this has been... the pod division in particular was one of the most competitive. There were 6 teams that finished over 500 out of the 8 teams in the division. It ended up coming down to literally the final race of the season for determining who would qualify from this division. And in that race, it came down to a 12-second margin of victory to put the Kakariko Brew crew into the second playoff spot. So certainly an exciting division for the drama through the regular season, and I would not expect anything different here in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, that Kakariko Brew crew was literally the last team in the Open League to clinch a playoff spot, so definitely keeping things interesting.
Yep. These two teams matched up in week 3 of the regular season, which by happenstance was the Casual Boots week. Daaanty made us join, won both races that week, but this time Skeeter will be participating. He did not participate during that week of the regular season. Slumberjack lost to Sir Linkalot in their race that week. For those who don't know, Casual Boots is going to be starting boots, starting sword, and a standard start, meaning that players will have to complete the Hyrule Castle escape sequence. We see 10 arrows there in Link's house.
And it is a dark and stormy night in Hyrule.
Yes, it is.
But what's Uncle gonna give us? A penny for our thoughts.
Well, that should make it happy, right? Just a heart piece from the secret passage. We see that the sword is now visible for the runners. It gets activated. You talk to the uncle there in the drop down, and we'll see how the players manage to do with their standard opening with boots.
Well, they probably won't get a sub-5 escape, but you know, trying to keep it to 520, 530 is probably a reasonable goal.
Sure.
Well, they've sure lined up pretty well here, doing all the same things, not too surprising. I didn't realize Skeeter used the pug sprite. Doesn't he know that only, Daaanty and Andy are allowed that?
I think he's angling for a spot in the pug trio if they reform.
Oh, see, I thought you had to win the main tournament to be allowed to use the pug sprite.
Well, maybe that's his goal for next year. We continue with the kind of lack of real interesting items here in Escape. Just 20 rupees there in the boomerang chest. But either way, we'll see what both players tend to do once they get out of Sanctuary, whether they continue kind of the standard route to Kakariko or choose to mix things up, hoping to find some things that will make their Kakariko trips a little bit nicer later on.
So while they're doing this, as you're all watching an escape sequence for the 1000th time in your lives, I'm sure, we do have a prediction going in chat of how many pendants will there be in the light world. Also, this is really weird watching Zelda rescue Zelda.
Yeah, I hope one day we can get to kind of the same sort of treatment that they have with the Zelda 1 randomizer, where it can swap some of the sprites out. So, where if you play as one of the enemy sprites, you can fight Zelda at the end, or fight Link at the end with the cannon. And so having Zelda lead Link through the castle instead of Zelda leading Zelda would be a neat touch as well.
Oh, like in Zelda 1 Rando, where you can opt to rescue Ganon from the evil Zelda.
Exactly.
Or Dragon Warrior Rando, where you can play as a princess and rescue Prince Guimond.
Well, I'm not familiar with that one, but I like it.
Yeah, no, these randos are very adaptable. It's kind of impressive. So, what do you think? Anything interesting gonna be back here?
Let's see. I think we could use a glove to spice things up. Maybe in back of escape here, since obviously Dark Cross not paying out today.
Well, the map had to be somewhere, but now we know that everything in the back end Sank will have an item.
Right. I do always love the map in the Sanctuary chest, though, just to see who's paying attention, really, for their escape sequence.
Yeah, though there was a bug that was only fixed relatively recently, that if you got the map in the front and then checked your item screen while you're in the back, it wouldn't show the map. And so sometimes people would think they think they hadn't gotten the map when they had, so they would think the map had to be in Sank Chest and skip Sank Chest and something useful would be there.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before, and I believe that bug was fixed, but I haven't actually gone and checked myself to confirm. Hopefully we will get a trackable item at some point this season, though.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we are not going to have too much to clear.
And by useful things that I saw skipped in Sank Chest when people thought they hadn't gotten the map yet, that includes things like a bow and a hammer, fairly important stuff.
Yeah, you usually want one of those to be able to beat the game, generally.
And
looks like we're seeing both runners head to Bonk Rocks here.
Yeah, the typical first check out of Escape in Kaz Boots. Hey, there's a trackable item for you. Yeah.
A unique item is on the Bonk Rocks. Let's see, a tier 2 tree pull is 4 bombs.
That is nice.
Yes, definitely. And Bush Crab giving out 20 bucks. So, nice resources there to have heading into the village.
Yeah, easily gonna be able to pay Bottle Vendor, and that's just bombs on Lumberjack Ledge, not going back for those.
Nope.
Still haven't actually seen a map check.
Yeah, neither runner has done one yet.
Of course, with the new setup, they can just start going into dungeons and it'll say C or P, right?
It is possible. I don't know if that's necessarily gonna evolve into the new meta for casual boots, but it is an option.
Yeah, there's something you like to find before the village. Get your bottle now and just check Sick Kid your first time through.
Yeah, getting that bottle, especially getting, if you can find the flute as well, are both really nice to have heading into Kakariko the first time, because it saves you a return trip later on.
And we have Zora money, not that we have a way of logically getting to Zora.
Yeah, between the bush crabs and the 300 there, we've already managed to farm up a pretty healthy amount of money from Birth Runners right now.
And Skeeter's executing just a wee bit better than Jack at the moment, as you can see by about the 2-second lead, since they've done all the same things.
Yeah, I think a large part of that was just down to the ball and chain guard kill in the escape sequence there.
That health refill was nice. More bombs, more money, no shortage of either this seed, and our first fetch quest, the shovel.
Yeah, getting the shovel on your way through Kakariko the first time, especially when you're going north to south, is also nice because you can kind of finish with that race game into shovel play.
Yeah, just have to remember to do that rather than save and quit out of the race game, as a lot of people will do by force of habit.
That is true.
Hey, there's a glove. Finally something meaningful.
Yeah, so some actual progression now.
That puts Zora in logic, given that we have all this money burning a hole in our pockets.
And the Cane of Burna there doesn't open up much. Well, it doesn't open up anything for us logically right now, but it is a nice safety to have.
And the bottle vendor is giving us triple your investment. I wish I could make returns like that on the market that quickly, you know?
Yeah, he's the scam artist has not figured out how to play that one correctly. If he's handing out 300 for 100, but as if we weren't healthy enough already on cash, now we have more than enough to get us through pretty much anything this scene can throw at us.
But so far, the glove has really been the only thing of interest we've found, unless that shovel leads to something.
Yeah, still looking for something that will really point us in a direction with this seed. I would expect probably, in this case, both runners just going south. I also respect Skeeter's commitment there to the chicken save in the back of the tavern.
Yeah, you don't see that chicken freed very often. Like, some runners will free one in Chicken Hut, but how often do they free the back of the tavern?
I mean, if you're really committed to the bit, you go free the one in the snitch lady's house in the west side of Kakariko, but you don't get to see that one too often.
And both of our runners are remembering that they need to use the shovel. And honestly, you know, with the glove, might be worth just running right over to the dam from here rather than a save and quit.
It looks like that's exactly what Slumberjack. It looks like that's what both runners are going to do.
Yeah,
So,
without the glove, it's probably still worth saving and quitting to Link's house since you have to go down that way, but since you can do this from here, this is a really nice route to be able to take.
Yeah, this works out nicely.
Might even be tempting to do a Gina.
Yeah, I could see an argument for that here. That's one of those Sphere 1 checks that can always be, if you don't have an early flute, can always be an inconvenient check, and even if you do, it can still be kind of a one-off that's maybe not at the top of the priority list.
Yeah, though at least with boots, it's a bit faster to get over there.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we've seen about 10 pieces of heart so far this seed. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, when we're not getting bombs and rupees, we're getting pieces of heart.
A little nod back to the SGL settings, I think.
Maybe someone accidentally put the wrong setting in here.
I've seen it happen before, but
Blame Sinak.
Well, there's a Moon Pearl, so now we're one glove or one hammer away from our Dark World access.
I think we're definitely going to see a fake flipper at the end of this route, since we can now do Waterfall Cave out of logic and Zora in logic.
Having the starting boots already makes it almost a no-brainer sort of play in most cases to go ahead and set up that water walk and quickly check at least one of Hobo and or Waterfall Fury, but in this case I think we may well see both from both runners here.
Well, since we don't have any good way to do an Ancilla Splash Delete, you might want to store a Water Walk here in case you want to get something off Zora Ledge.
Yeah, that is a possibility here as well.
And we're 13 minutes in and no one's checked the map yet.
Nope. We're just going to leave that prediction hanging until, until we're maybe, heading up to GT and just finding out if we're in go mode or not.
Okay, looks like both runners do want to use their water walk right away.
Yeah.
Ooh! Did you see what that was on Lake Hylia Island?
I sure did. That was a hook shot. So we will definitely want to pick that up before we are done today.
And we will definitely be needing flippers and mirror. Of course, if Swamp's a crystal, then we'll need that anyway. And that actually would help considerably with beating Swamp because we know exactly where the hookshot is. And it's locked by 2 items that you need to get into Swamp.
Right, yeah, no hookless Swamp dives today. That's going to be at least 1+ for these runners. One thing that'll be interesting to see is if we have kind of a late, flippers in some inconvenient place, if one of the runners might, do the water walk in the dark world, if we find an early mirror somewhere to get there and get that hook shot out of logic a little bit earlier.
Ooh, speaking of out of logic, that is an out of logic Samari. And
yeah, and
Jack's
Skeeter
in a better position because he grabbed 1 fewer heart piece, so he didn't get the refill, so he didn't get put into.
Yeah, so by virtue of getting that heart refill there, it kind of breaks the fake flipper state a little bit, so that it puts you back into swimming, even though you're inside and, at least apparently on land. We just see 3 bombs for 500 rupees from King Zora, so at least one of our scam artists is doing his job correctly today.
Yeah, those were some seriously expensive bombs.
Yeah. And looks like we're going to see Saha Eastern play here. We still don't know. Oh, no, looks like Slumberjack may actually be going to.
And that was 3 crystals in the light world, including a 5/6 on Hera.
Yep.
So
it looks like Slumberjack's
going
to get that mushroom checked. We'll see Saha's closet here on Skeeter's side. There's our second bottle and our third 300 rupees, but nothing new there to break new ground for us.
Yeah, I mean, logically, we have the mushroom, we have the front of Eastern, and we have Aegina.
Yep. And there's our hammer, so there's Dark World access for Slumberjack.
Okay, so that definitely pays off for Jack immediately following that mushroom.
Yeah, so he's going to go straight into Dark World here, it looks like. Skeeter's going to give us our first look at Eastern Palace. But unless he finds a bow here, this might be a little bit of sunk time. Or some other form of progression here, rather.
Well, that's one item down in Eastern.
We've got Green Pendant Pod, and then Skull and Mire as the other 2 pendants, and then a red crystal at Swamp Palace.
So those flippers and that mirror are definitely going to turn up. We will need that hookshot, but we know where it is. Ooh. Now that's interesting.
Oh boy. Well, there's one of our 2 bows and the fire rod in the back of Pipe Cave.
That's a pretty high pipe cave. That's like, I'd give that a solid 7 just for the bow and the fire rod.
Right. So that is a bit of an advantage there for Slumberjack in that, we've now found one of the 2 bows in the seed. Whenever he goes to Eastern Palace, he will be able to single dip it and clear it.
And given that we haven't found the Eastern Big Key yet, even if he somehow went to Eastern in Go mode, he'd still get that sword.
Yes. Yeah, looks like the Big Key is going to be vanilla here in Eastern.
And Skeeter's gonna get it just because he's gonna have to at some point. Might as well get it out of the way now.
Right. Yeah. I think Skeeter at this point should be knowing that with this being out of logic without the lamp, that his progression has to be either at that mushroom or at Agina right now. But obviously, if you come this far through the dungeon, you're going to go ahead and get that big chest checked here as well. And we do about 20 digs for 1 arrow. So
a unique item.
Another unique item, yes. So it looks like we're going to see Slumberjack take that bow and follow directly into Eastern Palace here. It'll be interesting to see what he does after this play, whether he chooses to go into Green Pendant Pod here, or if he decides to head to the Dark World. I believe we also have 1 item on the boss here of Eastern Palace.
Yep. We got both the map and the compass.
So he will be the first one to see that item here as well.
But yes, Slumberjack is definitely in a better position because he can full clear Eastern.
Yep, and Skeeter looks like he is going to do the fake flipper here to set up his mushroom turn-in and get his hammer as well. So he will be shortly behind on the same path here.
So now what's interesting is, like, what to do after this. Like, probably the Village of Outcasts area is the most logical option. You can full clear Thieves Town, but how much of Pendant Skull Woods do you want to do when you're out there?
Right. Yeah. I mean, in at least in Slumberjack's case, having just done the check south of Village, it might make sense to clear Village plus Thieves and then just head into Pendant Skull and see what you can get. You do have that Fire Rod that puts it in logic. Pendant Pod is also a fair play. It's 5 items, plus it's the green pendant today. Not completely in logic without the lamp, of course, but for all we know, lamp is sitting in the front of it somewhere.
Right, and because of the vanilla big key, the vanilla big key is flat out lamp locked logically. So that means Armos Knights is also lamp locked, whereas if the big key were not vanilla, Armos Knights would be in logic with the Fire Rod.
Correct. That said, I think both runners probably have plenty of comfort with doing their dark rooms, and can kind of, especially with that early Fire Rod find, can treat the logic relating to dark rooms as a little bit more of a kind of guidance suggestion rather than something that they have to really route around here.
Yeah, I mean, to get the small key on right side Eastern is one of the easiest dark rooms in the game, and then the one where you have to fight the Igors for the small key, well, you have the Fire Rod for that.
Yeah.
So we have a good question in chat about what courage means. At the start of the season, the runners on each team had to pick a designation corresponding to one of the 3 pendants, courage, wisdom, and power. And that would determine what mode they played first in the playoffs. Makes it a bit easier. There's one mode you need to practice if you go to the playoffs, and people don't have to figure out who they're playing against because you're always playing against the person with the same pendant on the other team. And so courage corresponds to the casual boots mode. Wisdom corresponds to cross keys, and power corresponds to getting to pick one of 4 modes that we've laid out for the runners.
Yep. And if this being a best of 5 series, if it makes it to a game 4 or a game 5 being necessary, game 4 will be a repeat of the 4 modes from, or at the same repeat of the same options for the 4 modes in game 3, minus the one that was selected for game 3. And then game 5, should it come to that, will be a co-op retrance race between 2 runners from each team. Each runner, if that situation were to make it to a game 5, one runner would participate in game 4, and then the remaining 2 runners from each team would participate in a game 5, should that come up. So
yeah, so if the series goes the full 5, everyone has to play twice, and that's why we give you 2 weeks to do each round.
So we're going to see Armos Knight here on Slumberjack's side, as we're going to see our first look at the village on Skeeter's side. And just 50 rupees as the prize for beating Eastern.
But it is the first crystal of the game, and that was a pretty swag lagamarang toss.
It's a good use for the boomerang, if we're being honest. Looks like Slumberjack's going to save and quit, so I'm expecting he'll probably go into the village here as well. Not going to try and beeline Pendant Pod this early, which I can understand, certainly. Anytime you have a fully clearable crystal dungeon, as well as several overworld checks nearby, that's usually going to be a more appealing option, but depending on how aggressive you want to play, that pod play is not the worst, I feel like.
Right. And I was also thinking that this is our only other clearable crystal at the moment. Desert's interesting because with a glove and a fire source, if we can get into desert, we can beat it.
Yeah, but we are either a book or or a combination of items with the flute, mirror, and mitts to get there inside of desert at this point.
And there's no saying that we'll even find the flute. It could be in GT since Meyer's a pendant.
That is correct.
Though, on the subject of those dungeons, we did find our first medallion. Bombos is sitting in the front of Thieves' Town.
So I believe that was 2 items in the front of Thieves, because we got the small key and, of course, the big key there as well. I think there was also 20 rupees, and I think maybe the ambush chest.
Now, of course, since we already have the fire rod, the only thing Bombos could potentially unlock is that eventually when we can climb Dark Death Mountain, it could be the key into Turtle Rock.
That's true, yeah, but it is still, nice to have, especially if you end up, going into Ice Palace without half magic, if you're still on Master Sword. Could be a nice safety to help with that Cold Stare fight as well, since you'd have magic left over to use the fire rod.
You were right, it was a big 20 in the front of Thieves.
So yeah, still 2 items left for Skeeter to find here between the 3 remaining checks that we've got in this dungeon.
So does Blind have anything useful in her cell?
It would appear yes.
Wow. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, so there's our mirror, which we know is now one of the 2 requirements for getting to that hookshot that we saw on Hylia Island earlier. That said, and there's our flute
Okay, guess it's not in GT.
Usually you only see this value in the back of Pendant Thieves Town, right?
Gonna be really easy to activate that flute as soon as we beat blind.
Yeah, they've made it about as easy as possible. Of course, having that flute open, well, it does open, I guess, 3 checks up on the mountain, or 2 checks at least in logic. We can check the Spectacle Rock. Oh no, it also opens up. No, that opens up a lot of the mountain. Actually.
Yeah, we can do the whole
Mirror and Hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was a moment slow on that one. Yeah, so now we have a lot of Death Mountain in logic for the runners to check. And that may prove to be a more appealing option than Pendant Skull after this for our runners. We'll have to see what they choose to do.
Yeah, though like, if it were me, like, while I'm in this area, I'd probably do Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb and see what's on Bumper Ledge.
Yeah, that's a fair option, or a fair assessment as well.
But we'll see if either of the runners does that or if they just activate the flute and go straight to the mountain.
Yep. Skeeter with a nice clean blind fight there to get his first crystal of the match. And Slumberjack heading to the basement here to get his mirror and flute from the 2 chests down here. I wonder if perhaps the motivations to flute away immediately might be a little different, just because Slumberjack, has already checked C-shaped house before coming in here as well. Whereas Skeeter, I think, has left that and still has, both runners still have the North Dark World checks, but might be slightly more inclined to see that play on Slumberjack's side here if we see that to go up to Death Mountain at this point.
Yeah.
And it does look like Skeeter's going to do exactly what you described here. Check the Bumper Ledge, and then probably head over to Graveyard to see what direction he goes from there. Looks like just arrows there on the ledge.
And this will be Slumberjack's second crystal already at just over half an hour. That's a pretty good pace.
Indeed it is. So I expect we'll see him activate his flute here as well, and then see what direction he chooses to go. One other thing that I don't know if, either runner kind of knows the trick here, but I'm a little bit surprised maybe, or I wouldn't be surprised, rather, to see maybe the water walk set up here in Skull Woods to go get that hook shot, even if it is out of logic right now.
Yeah, that seems more trouble than it's worth, especially since you're going to need the flippers anyway.
It does, but Highley Island is not the easiest thing to route in, and it just it makes your if you're planning on going up to Death Mountain here, having that hook shot in hand before you get up there, say if you find Mitts up on the mountain, that opens up Hookshot Cave for you without having to do a second mountain climb. So there's some trade-offs to it in both directions, I feel like.
This is interesting. Slumberjack is doing Pendant Skull Woods anyway.
Yep, so we're going to see how much of this he chooses to do.
I mean, before we got the flute and the mirror out of Thieves, this would have made sense, but we got so much opened up to us, I'm surprised he's doing this.
Yeah, well, there's, one item pretty quickly off the bat there in Pot Prison. It's just a heart container. We see Quake from the Old Man on the mountain.
Oh. Nice to get more medallions out of the way before we even have a chance to check medallion requirements.
Yeah, so one item here in the front for Slumberjack. We'll see if he chooses to continue to go deeper here. I imagine he will.
I mean, this is either going to be brilliant or a waste of time.
Yeah. Yep. So we see a green 20 in Spectacle Rock Cave. So there were our originally placed boots for this seed. And a vanilla big key from Skull Woods. As Skeeter heads into our red crystal Tower of Hera here. And finds a book. Well, that's convenient with Ether Tablet right next door.
There's our desert access too.
That is correct as well.
So we're rapidly increasing the number of dungeons we can beat. Really, the myths are the next big thing we need.
Yep. And a small key from the map chest there. Skeeter not going to take any chances here. Oh, well, we don't have a hookshot, so never mind.
Right.
Going back to what I said earlier about it potentially being a decent play to go get that hookshot early. But no, yeah, so no way to do a hair pot glitch here, so he's going to wait out the tile room down here to get his big key from the basement. And looks like Slumberjack is going to clear out the North Dark World checks here as well. And then probably head up that mountain as well.
So yeah, just to reiterate, the hookshot is on Lake Hylia Island. We don't know where the flippers are, other than we'll have to find them since Swamp's a crystal.
Yep, and I don't know, I'm not as familiar with Skeeter's capabilities, but either way, I don't believe Slumberjack is comfortable with any of the Moldorm 2 skips, so I think the hookshot would have been a required item for him at least in the seed, regardless of Swamp's being a crystal in this case.
But Jack's got the flute out. He's going to the mountain.
Yeah. And there is the magic powder as our second item out of Tower of Hera.
Well, we know chat really wanted to see the magic bat.
Yep, and with no way to do it out of logic, with the hammer being
Yeah.
we will have that as an option for both of our runners here. Oh, we have a fast Moldorm here.
Yeah, because Skeeter hit
there on the first go.
Yeah. The sword beam does fighter sword damage.
Oh, he got the poke there in at the end, so takes down his Moldorm, get his second crystal here from Tower of Hera.
And I'm sure Ether Tablet will be his next check.
I would certainly imagine so, as long as he remembers that he picked up that book. And he does. And there is Tempered Sword. That's very nice for him, and hopefully for Slumberjack here shortly as well.
Yeah, it's interesting how relatively linear the seed's been.
Yeah, not a lot of real options with how to route this one, as we see a shield up there on Floating Island. I don't expect either runner to pick that one up. Yeah, you pretty much kind of got railroaded into turning in that mushroom and then getting your hammer from the mushroom turn in and getting into Dark World for your bow and fire rod, and then getting to Thieves Town was pretty much the next wave of progression in this one.
And I think after the mountain, you flute to 6 and see what's in the desert area.
Yeah, that would certainly seem to be a good option here with another, just keep chasing those clearable crystals for as long as you can here.
Hey, the full heart containers have started showing up. Spec Rock, Paradox Cave.
All right, so we can confirm that this is not an SGL. Finally. I'm sure both of our runners, even though I know Slumberjack has a fairy that he got from the Waterfall Fairy Fountain, I think both runners will be perfectly happy to see those hearts show up. And there are our flippers in Paradox Cave, so now that hookshot is completely in logic.
Okay, so we are potentially Ice Rod and Mitts from Go mode.
That is correct. Yeah, I think the only other potential requirement would be that ether, if we need that to get into Turtle Rock here. But we have opened... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, as we know, that Ice Rod can be anywhere except on Trinex or in GT.
Yeah, and this, depending on where the mitts show up, we could see... Yeah, we could see that Ice Rod in a lot of really gross places.
I mean, I think you're hoping that the Ice Rod shows up before the mitts do, honestly. That's what
oh,
it comes
yeah, as a
down
runner,
to.
absolutely you are. It takes a lot of nasty options off the table, if that is the case.
And it looks like Skeeter is doing the swamp play with that hook shot.
Yeah, I can't blame him here. It also gives him the opportunity after this to potentially route in Pyramid Fairy up to Pyramid Ledge and Catfish if he so chooses, depending on what he gets out of Swamp here.
Yeah, that's a good point that I wasn't thinking along those lines. But yeah, when you have that many items involved, and he's gonna do Cave 45 and Bombos Tablet first, it looks like.
Yeah. Anyway, Slumberjack takes down Moldorm on his side, gets his third crystal, and is going to get his Tempered Sword right here from the Ether Tablet. And it looks like he is going to make his way across. Oh, well, there are mitts.
Yeah,
so,
well, how about that for doing those mirror checks before you go into Swamp?
Yes, well, so much for that hope you find Ice Rod first thing that you mentioned there just a minute ago.
Yeah.
So now, now Skeeter is potentially one item in Go mode here, possibly two. It'll be kind of an interesting thing to see. Does he get any more aggressive with his routing? Does he start trying to maybe skip some chests like left side swamp here, or does he continue being pretty thorough? We haven't seen a lot of opportunities for either of our runners to kind of gamble yet with the way that the items have been laid out in the seed, but
well, I mean, he did just skip Bombos Tablet. Like, given the layout of this seed, you're going to Pyramid after Swamp, so
yeah,
Bombos was an actual skip, I would say.
Right. I could see potentially a world where you especially before the mitts, where you maybe were thinking, do Bombos Tablet into Desert after this? But finding the mitts there and opening up the access through the Flute 6 portal into the Mire area, I think maybe makes that Pyramid play an even better option at this point. And Slumberjack getting his flippers from Paradox Cave on his side, as well as the blue potion there.
And I guess he decided a flute was faster than a save and quit?
It looks like it, yep.
I'm actually not sure the amount of time walking out of there, especially since he is just going to Link's house and also to the swamp area.
Yeah. I imagine it's probably not a drastic difference either way. But looks like he will beeline his way over to that hookshot as well. And then we'll see, if he chooses to go into, K45 around the same time as Swamp, or if he chooses to go in a different direction at this point. It's not a guarantee that he goes straight to K45, although it's, the getting that mirror out of Thieves Town and having done those checks already does make it relatively appealing while you're on your way to Swamp Palace. And we've gotten both the map and the compass from their vanilla locations. So we know 2 items either directly or gated by being on left side, as we see the silver arrows there on Desert Ledge. So Slumberjack is going to head into desert here first with the book, but is going to be able to pick up those silver arrows.
Yeah, that could be interesting if Skeeter's in go mode by the time he gets to desert. Not that silver arrows save a huge amount of time with tempered sword, but it's still a time saving. Certainly worth it to dash down there and get them.
Yeah, but if he, like you said, if he is potentially in go mode, he may float directly to 6 and go straight into desert and never see the item on Desert Ledge, just depending on how this plays out. Those silver arrows, be a time save on Ganon, but also we have 2 Landmo fights. It'll save a little bit of time on the final phase of Argus if you have any difficulties there. So there are some potential for those silvers to help Slumberjack out a little bit. That gold sword is also certainly not a massive requirement, but nice to have. And again, if Skeeter makes it here in go mode, that would be another thing he would skip, getting the big key from the chest right before that.
Yeah, and it will be nice for Cold Stare. I mean, you get the gold sword for Cold Stare, you just kind of box him into the corner, and I think it's only like 4 slashes.
Right. Anyway, it's like no... A rupee payout, but no progression payout from Left Side Swamp today.
Yeah, so that's another thing if Slumberjack decides to gamble not doing Left Side Swamp, though given that he did Skull Woods, he's probably going to do Left Side Swamp. You don't want the silvers? Okay.
That seems like a forget moment there.
Even the top NMG players, it's 25 seconds longer to do Silver with Ganon, and it is definitely less than 25 seconds to run over there.
Even that, it would be, it certainly makes this fight that he's going into right now easier with the having the silver arrows. Obviously, you can do it with the fire rod, which is what I imagine he will do, but you still like to have them for your Landmo fight.
But Butter Sword makes it less necessary.
Yeah, but I think that's a pretty much 100%. If you're thinking about them, you go grab them. So hopefully the memory gets jogged here for him, at least after clearing this dungeon. But we'll see.
Yeah, the nice thing is the Fire Rod and the Butter Sword do the same damage on Landmo, so if you miss a Fire Rod shot, it's not horrible.
Yeah. Anyway, just 20 rupees is the second item out of Desert Palace, so that's a 4th crystal clear for Slumberjack. We'll see if he chooses to, or if he remembers that those silver arrows are there and chooses to go back for them. As we see Skeeter with a pretty nice Argus fight there.
And he's got the Fire Rod out. Doesn't quite get the quick kill phase 2.
Okay, it does look like Slumberjack remembered. And a big key, so we know there is an item in the big chest today in Swamp Palace. I would expect Skeeter to go back in for that, but he gets his 3rd crystal of the race there from Swamp. And yes, he is going back in. This is our first look at a Gina cave here on Slumberjack's side. And it's red now.
Don't really need that, but not going to turn it down.
Yeah, not going to turn it down, but both runners already pretty well equipped with safeties in this seed, so not likely to make a huge difference. Looks like Slumberjack is heading in the direction of Swamp Palace here as well.
Alright, so the question is, will he also do Cave 45 first? Well, this is interesting. Skeeter is now doing Bombos. So slightly more running around to do it this way than if he had done it before Swamp.
Right. Yeah, I think the question is kind of where does he go from here? Does he follow Pyramid Ferry, or does he choose to go straight to Desert here?
And yeah, I think Slumberjack not having the mitts and with the dungeon items and Swamp being vanilla is definitely going to do left side.
Alternatively, none of the above might be the answer for Skeeter. It looks like he's going to go up and get Dark Death Mountain checked. I can understand this play. You want to get that information for the medallion for TR. Know if you are in go mode when you find that, or know if you need to find the Ether medallion for go mode. And of course, there's 6 checks up here as well that he can knock out with this play. The kind of downside to this play is
7 if you include Spike Cave.
That's true. The downside to this play, though, is if TR is Bombos or Quake, you have the ability to get everything out of it other than the item on Trinex. And the question becomes then, do you gamble finding the Ice Rod up here in TR if you don't find it here in Super Bunny or Hookshot Cave? Or do you just leave TR kind of unchecked for a while and then do an extra mountain climb later on for it?
Yeah, with the number of locations outstanding, I would think the gamble isn't that great a play because, odds-wise, it's not likely to be in TR compared to somewhere else.
Yeah, and it is Quake, so it is openable for him. But we'll see, for all we know, we could find the Ice Rod right here in Hookshot Cave. That said, it does confirm that we are 1 item from go mode on Skeeter's side, and 2 on Slumberjack's side, once he gets his mitts out of K45. And just a shield and 3 heart pieces out of Hookshot Cave. So now it's kind of a decision time for Skeeter. It looks like he is going to say no to the TR dive here and head over and get Spike Cave checked. Oh, and there is the Ice Rod in Spike Cave, so that is go mode for Skeeter right there at 51 minutes.
Was not expecting that. But,
so
yeah.
that's a very big swing for him right there. Now he is clearing dungeons as fast as possible. Does mean kind of what we said earlier may come to fruition with the Silver Arrows and the Gold Sword here at Desert Ledge and in Desert Palace. That Skeeter may never see those at all. But, unless Slumberjack can get on that path quickly of getting up the mountain to Spike Cave and getting that Ice Rod, it may not matter all that much here.
Yeah, well, and he also needs to do K45 and get the mitts.
Right.
Yeah, clock's definitely ticking on Slumberjack, all things being equal, right now he has a lead, but the longer Skeeter's in go mode and Slumberjack isn't, that lead vanishes.
Yeah. Yeah, he does have an advantage from having been able to clear Eastern Palace earlier. Skeeter's gonna have to make a separate trip back over there for that, and he will have, a minor advantage from the Gold Sword and the Silvers. But yeah, if you're cheering for Slumberjack or Team Kakariko Brew Crew, you're really hoping for him to get up to Spike Cave after getting those mitts here sooner than later, for sure. If you want to
and you were right that Skeeter is not getting the Butter Sword.
Yeah, no reason to head to the big key chest there. He knows he has gotten all of the items. He's already pretty comfy in terms of, having Tempered Sword. So not even really going to be needing to search for anything extra here.
Which means he almost certainly will not be picking up silvers. He hasn't seen them.
Yeah, I think he's going to flute away immediately after he finishes this dungeon and never know that the silvers were sitting out there until the post-race chat.
Well, he'll get the "Did you find the silver arrows in the light world" hint.
Yeah, which won't be particularly helpful for him.
Now, this is going to be an interesting fight, though. He does not have silvers. He does not have magic to use the rods. He's going to be using tempered and wooden arrows.
Yeah, so I think it's 4.
Yeah, 4 tempered hits.
Yeah.
Or 2 tempered spins.
Oh, is it 2 spins? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 4 slashes or 2 spins.
Yeah, so it's not a terrible fight. And we have simultaneous boss kills for crystals as we get Slumberjack taking out Argus with his silver arrows and Skeeter slashing away at Lanmo. 4th crystal for Skeeter, 5th for Slumberjack, but with Skeeter already in go mode, the like you said, the clock is ticking here for Slumberjack to find those mitts and the ice rod.
And Slumberjack, not surprisingly, is going back in for the big chest like Skeeter did.
Yeah, Skeeter on his way to Ice Palace here. I imagine we will not see too many of the items here in this one, given that the Icebreaker route allows you to pretty quickly navigate through most of the dungeon without having to open anything.
So now what's Slumberjack gonna do?
So I would expect, Bombo's tablet here, probably K45 after.
Yeah, one hopes if he's doing Bombo's tablet, he's gonna do K45.
Yeah. And then the question from there becomes, what direction does he go? Does he continue on to Pyramid Fairy? Does he take those mitts and start doing, mitts opened checks? That's going to be, yeah. There's several options there for him.
Yeah, and I still can't believe that Skeeter Galaxy Brained the Mountain as his next play, and Ice Rod was there.
Like I said, I can understand it given the desire to get that medallion knowledge. In Slumberjack's case, you could see him go directly into Ice Palace here. The downside, of course, being that he would be likely full clearing Ice Palace versus getting to do the go mode version of it that Skeeter will. But he has been pretty steadfast in his always be clearing crystal dungeons mantra today, and it looks like that is exactly what we're going to see from him.
Yep. Though Skeeter's having enough trouble with Icebreaker, Slumberjack might actually not lose too much time from the full clear.
Yeah, we've spent a little bit of time here in this room, and this is never a fun feeling when you're trying to do, one frame movement or 1 pixel movements that, and you're in a time crunch, you're in go mode, it's a pretty jet seat here that you've gotten. So
the unfortunate thing is, if you're in go mode, Ice Palace Bomb Jump only takes about an extra 15 seconds.
We did see Skeeter open the big key chest there and get the bug net out. I don't expect that to be a massive help for him, but I think he might have been looking just to get a small key there to make the route a little bit nicer for him through the dungeon.
But as it turns out, the small key was in the whatchamacallit, in the compass chest.
So yeah, Skeeter going to go directly to his Cold Stare fight here. Slumberjack hitting the switch as well, but he's going to be, I think, clearing all the chests here for the 3 items of this dungeon, given that he does not know about the Ice Rod in the Spike Cave.
And he's also having trouble with Icebreaker, though in his case, since he's full clearing, if you can't do Icebreaker, that's quite a bit of extra time.
Yeah. Gets it there on second or third try, though. Gets his first item with that bug net. Skeeter with getting down to 1 heart there. A little bit spicier cold stare fight than I think he was anticipating. There's our lamp.
That is just an ugly place for the lamp. At the same time, you know, we're not touching Mire. We haven't been into TR. We're not touching Pod.
Yeah, we really, other than the Eastern Palace big key, we really haven't done much in the way of lamp required checks this seed. So I guess it's not that much of a surprise to see a super late lamp in Logic.
But with an item on Cold Stare, we know Slumberjack really will be full clearing here.
Yeah, and now Skeeter heading back to do his clear of the Armos Knights at Eastern Palace. So if you were Slumberjack here, this is kind of your window. You have pretty much until until Skeeter finishes this check to get up there and find that ice rod from Spike Cave. So, you know, clock definitely ticking here.
Yeah, so basically, if Skeeter goes to the mountain right after... Sorry, no, if Slumberjack goes to the mountain right after this, of course Skeeter's going to the mountain, then the race is reasonably close. If Slumberjack does anything else, Skeeter has a decided advantage.
I would agree with that, yeah. And, you know, there is the potential here of Slumberjack doing a TR dip where we, of course, know the ice rod will not be, even if he does go up the mountain. So not a guarantee in that situation that that we get that Spike Cave check before a TR dip.
But look at how nice and easy Cold Stare is with the Butter Sword, which is why the game in Vanilla doesn't let you have the Butter Sword for Cold Stare.
But luckily they were nice enough to at least program in the damage table for Cold Stare to account for you having that gold sword, even if the game wouldn't allow you to have it. Sixth crystal there for Slumberjack. Skeeter about 3 rooms away from getting his 6th crystal out of Eastern Palace. And now it's decision time. So it looks like we are going up the mountain here for Slumberjack. So I imagine we'll see the same kind of order here, at least at the start, that Skeeter did with the Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave checks. But then the question will be, will he go into TR, or will he head back over and get Spike Cave checked before going in there?
And even if Slumberjack does go to Spike Cave, I think Skeeter has the lead just because of the amount of time it'll take Slumberjack to do Hookshot Cave and Spike Cave.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a time advantage for Skeeter in this scenario. The question is it going to be within the range of execution and or GT big key routing, or are we going to be kind of have this decided at Slumberjack's decision point here? But yeah, we'll take note here of Skeeter's entry into Total Rock just to kind of get an idea of what his lead is. Doesn't feel like it's going to be necessarily within the margin of just the silver arrows or the sword advantage that Slumberjack has. We do see him putting that bug net to use that he got out of Ice Palace though.
Why not, right? You got all those bottles.
Not a bad idea. It's just a pretty free ferry to grab on your way to Turtle Rock there. And, like you said, we have plenty of bottles for it. We see Slumberjack mirroring here to open TR. If he goes in here, then this is probably probably GG's for him.
Yeah. Spike Cave is an awful location.
Yeah.
Just in general, I mean.
Yeah, and GFE pointing out in chat that he could potentially do a save with the portal here at Laser Bridge, but yeah, he's going to be, depending on the key layout here, full clearing a dungeon that Skeeter may not have to. We see the big key there in the first chest, so Skeeter's not going to be checking the lava chest here. And already, we know that there's time involved to get back over to Spike Cave and clear it as well. So
yeah, and I mean, if you want to do a portal save, well, Spike Cave is a pretty good place to do a portal save. You just first have to flute to one and then climb the left side of the mountain again.
Right. So we see the one required small key in the front of TR, so we will see another small key in the chain shop's chest. But then we will see probably a diverging route between the two runners, as Skeeter's going to, I would imagine, steal the Pokey Key and head straight onto the back of the dungeon, where Slumberjack will be full clearing the lava chest, checking Mimic Cave, big chest, all looking for that ice rod that is not going to be in here for him.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Mimic Cave's gonna take time.
Yeah, it's not a convenient place to get over to in terms of time. It's not a convenient, not a exactly quick check to get through. And then you'd have to, even if you do manage to save the portal here, it's going to take time to get back up to that portal, get in and kill Trinex. We're looking at probably a minimum 4 to 5 minute lead, I would think, for Skeeter heading into GT. Just not outside the realm of possibility, but is not a not a very easy one to come back from at that point in the seed either.
Yeah, it's not gonna be just a matter of the gold sword and silvers, like.
And there's no guarantee that Spike Cave is Slumberjack's first option here either. We have so much of the seed unchecked. Other than we've got 2 pendant dungeons that have been untouched by either runner. We've got all of our Smith chain checks and everything like that. We've got Pyramid Fairy, Catfish. There's a lot of places he could go that would all, to him, seem equally valid.
Well, since Skeeter's a member of Daaanty made us join, presumably he'll go left first in GT because Daaanty. But does Slumberjack know that?
That is a good question. That said, their team name is not Daaanty Made Us Route GT, so...
Well, now we know where the cape is.
Yeah, we did see a cape there in the Mimic Cave for Slumberjack. And a bonus potion for Slumberjack. So nice safeties for going outside, at least. I don't think we were particularly in need of them, but And Skeeter getting his small key from the second chest on Laser Bridge is going to head straight to the boss here.
Hey, that means we should queue up a prediction. Okay, prediction queued up. Get your guesses in for the GT Big Key location in terms of left side or right side or back, and of course spam those numbers in chat.
Yeah, Skeeter taking down Trinex gets his 7th crystal. In a deceptively close right behind, Slumberjack is on the last chest of Laser Bridge here, but have to be heading out after this to find the ice rod that he needs to beat Trinex, unfortunately.
Wow, someone is betting heavily on left side here.
I bet it's Daaanty.
That's what I was thinking.
And we see Slumberjack heading to the mire area here. It looks like he's gonna.
Checkerboard.
Yeah, well, I don't know if checkerboard's gonna be a thing if he's trying to save the portal, but he is gonna get Mire Shed done here immediately.
At least he can't enter Mire.
That's true. Now he can enter Mire.
He under doormat again. Why is the key always under the doormat?
I don't know.
Well, that's
easy. Come up there from Hope Room. Slumberjack opening Mire here. It's not a feels good moment for him. We see a shield as item number 3 there from Bob's torch. Small key 4, small key 5. Arrows and rupees, and we're gonna continue going through left side here.
So we're up to 8 here.
Yeah, this will be number 8. A full heart in the map chest.
Hey, there's our Bloomerang in Mire.
Yep, so there's one of the 2 items for Slumberjack in Mire. We kind of hope that he'll get kicked out here soon by getting the second one, but I think at this point this one is mostly decided.
It's impressive that neither of our runners did Pyramid Fairy in the end.
Yeah, and I can understand it though, given the nits placement right there, especially in Slumberjack's case, getting the nits right before I think he would have been doing Pyramid Fairy. You can certainly understand it. There is our big key in Rando Room. I believe that's 13, since we did, with the Fire Snake being number 9.
So, Planira, congratulations on your correct guess. You win a lifetime supply of Rando Seeds.
Yep, so Skeeter starting his climb. He's got, plenty of safeties here. He's got the he doesn't have all of the luxuries that Slumberjack managed to find. He doesn't have the silvers, doesn't have gold sword, doesn't have red mail, but still not an uncomfortable climb here. He's got a fairy in a bottle as well as a blue potion, so should he run into any trouble here, I think he will be still in reasonably good shape.
Hey, and now that the bot's acting correctly, we can tell you to follow the runners.
Hooray! And also, while we have kind of a moment here, a shout out to our tracker Akahaish. They did an excellent job, even though we didn't have anything for them to do in the first 10 minutes of the seed.
Given how fast the seed wound up being, it's hard to remember that, like, the runners didn't find anything for the first 10 minutes.
We made it through Kakariko with like 2 items, and then things started going fast and heavy from there. There's a second item for Slumberjack here. Which he may not have been counting. If he's heading over here to check the chest. Or he may be coming over here to get the small key. Okay, no, okay. Yeah, I think he just realized.
But now you have that portal, but you have red mail and 13 hearts. Well, murder dactyls at least take 1 heart. That's still going to be a lot of murdering from the dactyl.
Yeah, this is not going to be... Even if it does end up working out for him, it's not going to be the world's most efficient portal save, as we see Skeeter already through the Landmo 2 fight on his climb.
And Skeeter is already on the torch room.
Yeah, and Slumberjack continuing his tour of Pendant Dungeons is going to head over here to Pod. So, you know, a reasonable play in terms of density, but just not going to work out for him in the end today. Certainly no great shame. This is not the first time a runner has been felled by an Ice Rod hunt, to be sure. But Skeeter is almost to Moldworm 2 here. And in a very good position with regards to health and everything else here as he heads into that fight.
And here we are on Aga 2. Let's see how well behaved he is. Nice double to start things. Ooh, just missed with 2.
So close to a double there on phase 2, or on the second one. One more hit here will do it. Down goes Aga 2. So now Skeeter going to have a pretty quick time here, finishing up here at 117. Going to be dropping into his Ganon fight here shortly.
Well, there's the big key to Pod.
Well, yeah, and a compass. So, no items in the front, which is not at all what Slumberjack wanting to find at this point.
And his tracker, item-wise, is completely full except for the Ice Rod, so I don't know what he even could find.
Yeah, that is often how it seems to go with these things.
I mean, okay, not a shield.
Right, but we've seen one of the other shields, and then the other one is in GT on the torch. So I guess that's the only thing he could otherwise have been finding here. But ooh. And we're gonna see a use of that fairy that Skeeter picked up on Death Mountain.
Wasn't the bug net great?
Indeed, it turned out to be a nice little pickup for him. does get onto phase 3 here of Ganon. So now we wait for him to warp around, and then Skeeter will have 12 spins to finish off phase 4 of this fight.
And did you find the arrows in the light world? Little does Skeeter know they were on Desert Ledge.
No, he did not find the arrows in Light World, but we did see them.
And we're about, I think, 4 spins into the 12 we need.
Yep, looks like we get a good setup for a triple here. There's 8 and 9. Looks like a good position for a triple there. That's 10, 11, and number 12. Get your GGs in chat for Skeeter. Gonna finish right past 120 here. Here in race 1, and give the first win of this series to Daaanty Made Us Join.
And yes, Skeeter gets an official race time of 1:20:03. And Slumberjack just saw the done, so that is his forfeit, and let's try to get both of the runners in here.
Yep, so GG's to Slumberjack as well. A well-run race, just unfortunate there with the ice rod and kind of the routing that led to that.
We got them both in the waiting room, it looks like.
Yep.
Sorry about the ping, Skeeter. Of course, you joined us right as I pinged. But anyway, we have both of our runners in here. GG, guys.
GG. Jeez. What a race.
Yeah, it was a very interesting race to watch, and it was kind of, especially for Skeeter, your decision to go up the mountain there. Obviously, I know you were kind of, the primary motivation there was to get those 6 checks on the east side of the mountain and get the TR medallion information.
Yeah, I just wanted that TR information. I mean, obviously hoping Ice Rod was on the way, but I mean, really just want to know, if I had that medallion, I was going to just go mode everything if I didn't find Ice Rod up there and just hope it's in TR. But thank God I remembered I didn't do Spike Cave, because I was tempted to do it right after Hera and just opted not to, I guess. And, well, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah,
that's true. You guys did have access to it when you were doing Hera.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was on. I was honestly thinking about doing it, and then just said, nope, we got so much more to do, and there's just... Yeah,
I can completely understand, skipping it the first time on the mountain there, because you had just opened up, all of, Paradox Cave, Spiral Cave, everything over there. And, yeah, completely reasonable, but yeah, the decision to not dip TR there when you first got that information on the medallion, and then going over to Spike Cave and finding the ice rod there immediately.
I was just like, my eyes were just like wide open once I saw it. I was like, "Oh boy, we're actually in go." So I tuned into the stream like right after I finished, and I heard Drossi saying that apparently I skipped the silvers on Desert Ledge.
Not only that, but also in Desert Palace, one chest behind the big key was your gold sword as well.
Oh boy.
So yes, if Slumberjack had gone to Spike Cave, like, before TR, it would have been close simply because he was a bit behind, but he had the Buttersword Silver's advantage.
Oh yeah, that could have easily made up some ground. And then my dumb death to Ganon.
Well, at least you had that very convenient ferry from the.
Yeah, I don't even know why I picked up. I got the bug net. I'm like, I might as well get a little bit of a safety here.
Yeah, well, it worked out for you.
It worked out well. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, I was dumping fairies because I didn't want them.
Right, you had the misfortune there at the
portal.
end of trying to death warp there with Red Mail and 14, 15
Red
hearts.
Mail and Murder Bird, yep.
Oh my gosh.
That was a good amount of fun.
Oh, I'm sure. Where was Red Mail that you had that? Was it in one of the pendant dungeons?
I forget. I think it must have been.
I think it might have been the big chest of TR, if I remember right.
Oh, okay. I skipped like the majority of TR.
Right. Yeah. There were 2 more safeties if you went outside at TR, because there was also the Mimic Cave.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Agina is where it was.
Oh, Agina.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so everything was in Desert Land apparently.
Yeah. So yeah, the silvers, the gold sword, and red mail were all right in the desert area.
Great. Lovely.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys routed this, very similarly. Obviously, this was a fairly linear seed in terms of, especially the early part, having to go get the mushroom to get the hammer for Dark World access. Slumberjack made a little bit more of a fortunate call there, getting that Dark World access earlier before going to the eastern area and having the bow in hand to clear eastern on his first trip over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, obviously the big difference was just that ice rod placement and Skeeter getting there immediately after getting the confirmation that he was ice rod for go. So that was that was definitely.
Actually, I did want to ask on a fairly small divergence that didn't really make much of a difference, but Slumberjack, you went into the front of Skull Woods just because it was there, basically, I assume, or.
Yeah, it's the same as everybody else does. So you just treat it as like a overworld check. And I had the mirror, I think, at that point, so it just made sense to route that in with Cape Ledge and Graveyard Ledge and all that jazz. So.
Yeah, no, I think honestly once I got the mirror and the flute, like my brain was just like, I'm just gonna go to Skull Woods. But then I was like, what? I got them completely open, at least the late world side of it. I'm like, I'm just gonna skip Skull Woods for now. It's very easy to get back to, and just take the risk, and it paid off.
I think there's one item still in the back somewhere. I didn't find it. So.
Oh, okay. Was that the last time you needed that?
But yeah, so this is obviously game 1 of the series here. Skeeter, Daaanty made us join up 1-0. We've got races between the 2 teams tomorrow night and Thursday night. I will be racing against Lilithan in Cross Keys, and then Sokol and Sir Linkalot will be playing each other in game 3 on Thursday, and I believe a hard swordless seed.
It is. And they're both going to be very exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's been interesting because looking at like what people chose for their game 3s, all 4 modes have already been selected at least once.
Oh, really? That's awesome. A lot of diversity here. I like it.
Yeah, it's been interesting kind of hearing, I've been talking with some of the other runners who are in the playoffs and hearing kind of the different justifications and kind of, levels of metagaming around strengths and weaknesses and potential game 4s and everything like that that's gone into those decisions and how they've all kind of arrived at things differently.
Absolutely. I can definitely, it's a good strategy, right? I mean, knowing what we really can just do very, very well at, and knowing, we played with you guys already through the season, so, we get kind of a little bit of an idea, but, it helps.
Yep.
But we're excited. It's going to be a very good series, a very tough one.
Yeah.
We obviously hope we can take it on, but, who knows what's going to happen. Cross Keys is huge coin flip.
Swordless can be a harsh mistress.
It really is.
Swordless is swordless. I have my
Yeah.
opinions on that mode, but we'll see. I'm not playing it, thankfully, so there's
Absolutely.
that.
Agreed.
Just hoping we take this to game 5 so we can do co-op veterans, because that
Yeah,
sounds like a blast.
Honestly, that's
It
my hope, is that we just get to a game 5. I want to play one co-op veterans.
That'll be fun. We'll see what happens.
Yep, for sure.
All right.
Either you guys have any other final thoughts?
No, it was GG Slumber. It was a very, very fun race.
GG's, and I mean, final thoughts. I mean, thanks everybody for watching and hanging out, and thank you again to comms, trackers, restreamers, always making this happen. Very much appreciated.
Absolutely agree with that 100%. Thank you for everyone involved.
Yeah, big shout outs again to our tracker, Akuhaish, who may have been able to take a nap in the first 10 minutes, but was certainly on top of everything once. Oh, yeah, I have to give you guys grief about this. Neither of you checked the map for the first 15 minutes. What was going on there?
Oh, yeah, I never check map until I have at least one item that lets me do a dungeon. Like, as soon as I do that, I usually check the map then.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, I'm almost the same way. I mean, in casual boots, my focus is, I mean, even just trying to get all these overworld checks. And then once I'm down to maybe the end of Sphere 1, I'm like, okay, what am I really trying to gain here? Then I'll do my map check. But honestly, it's just the last thing on my mind.
Yeah, because I checked
you're
map as I was
making
going into
Drosky
Dark World. Yeah.
You're making Drosky very anxious. He really wanted to resolve that prediction.
Yeah, well, it's my own fault for starting a prediction about number of pendants in the light world, and then neither of you would resolve it.
Oops.
Well, I'm glad I did both of my map checks back to back for you.
I think once I got into Dark World, I also did my map check. Because it was I think I did my first map check right before I went to Dark World.
Yep, same.
Yep. So there you go.
So what I heard is, sorry, not sorry.
Basically.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you guys for letting us restream this. It was a very fun race to watch, and best of luck with any potential races that we may have together for the rest of the series and beyond.
Absolutely. Good luck. We'll definitely be seeing you soon.
Indeed. Drosky, would you like to take us home?
Yeah, well, you definitely want to check out the next race in this series, which is going to be between my co-com Will here and Lilithan, and that's almost exactly 24 hours from now, and that'll be on the ALTTPR League 2. So put that in your calendars. And if you're looking for more rando tonight, we have a midnight match between BSJ of In Rod We Trust and CJ of Swordbeam Club. I believe that will also be a casual boots, and that will be on the ALTTPR League main channel. So definitely give the league channels a follow. Of course, thanks to SpeedGaming for hosting this race. Give SpeedGaming and SpeedGaming 2 through 6 a follow as well. And thanks all for watching, and happy randoing.